Alright, guys, welcome to Take Your Base. I'm your host, Lava Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. Alright, guys, so big news. Another big time free agent has signed, and the Yankees, I put a video out there. They haven't done much outside of just signing Judge, re-signing Judge, because they were bringing back the same old team. Well, I'm eating crow for this, and yes, they ended up re-signing big time pitcher. Former San Francisco Giants standout pitcher, all-star Carlos Rodon. Now, yes, Rodon finally got to go to a destination, a zoning that he wanted to go to. The man is from Miami. The man is from the East Coast, and that's one thing that he had mentioned, that he wanted to be on the East Coast. He didn't want to pitch out on the West Coast. And one of the teams that he was heavily interested in, he obviously signed with, is the New York Yankees. The Yankees got their big fish, nice lefty. The man has been solid. The man has actually produced well. Lifetime, the man has 947 strikeouts. Over, I think it was 56 wins and like 43 losses. The contract that they ended up giving to Carlos Rodon was 6 years, $162 million. Rodon right now is 29 years old, if I'm not mistaken. This will bring him into age 35, which is actually not a bad contract for both the Yankees and for Carlos Rodon, just because Rodon can actually get a second contract. I mean, we have seen pitchers now pitch, give or take, into, I would say, we're seeing it right now with Max Scherzer, age 40, or Justin Verlander, age 40, late 30s. We're seeing it right now. So Rodon can actually get another contract by the time this contract is over, and he could re-up and maybe even demand more money if he's able to be this consistent, because the first couple of years of him pitching with the White Sox haven't been that great. The final year of him being in the White Sox was actually pretty good, and I actually have the stats over here for you guys. So right over here, it's 2021. 13 wins, 5 losses, ERA of 2.37. The man had 24 starts, pitched 24 games. All right, what didn't do the full 30, 31, 32 starts, but injuries. All right, the man had a complete game. I believe this is the year that he ended up getting that no hitter, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it was Carlos Rodon that got the no hitter. I could be wrong. All right. Pitched 132.2 innings, and man had 185 strikeouts. Left after that season, signed a 1-year deal with the Giants. The Giants took him on the flyer, and he actually did really well in his only season with the Giants. The Giants thought that they were going to be able to capitalize on a big season that they had the year prior in 2021 after they had won 100-plus games. But he had another good season, and he showed, that he has this stuff inside of him. Going into 2022, 14 wins, 8 losses, pitched 31 starts. Okay, so he had pitched 31 games, 31 starts. The man ended up pitching 178 innings. Okay. Didn't get close to the 200 inning mark. That's something that I think that some Yankee fans would want to see, is him, pitch deeper into games. And so, I mean, the Yankees have a phenomenal bullpen as it is, with Loizaga, and you're gonna have Clay Holmes as your closer. But the man has been consistent for the last 2 years, as in Carlos Rodon. All right, man had 237 strikeouts. So with more innings, more games pitched, you could see the progression with Carlos Rodon. I mean, maybe he's a late bloomer. Is this a fluke? I have no idea, but Yankees are taking a big chance. 6 years. I know that a couple of teams wanted to give him a shorter-term contract. I know the Giants wanted to bring him back, but Rodon did want to pitch on the East Coast. He wanted to be a little bit closer towards home, and he finally got his wish. I want to just talk to you about Rodon's early years with the White Sox. Came up in 2015. He was 22. But he had a 9-6 record. Pitched 26 games, started 23 of them. He did have a complete game, 139.1 innings he ended up pitching. He did have 139 strikeouts. ERA was 3.75. That's actually pretty good now in today's game of baseball. The following year, he had a 4.04 ERA, 9 wins, 10 losses. He did end up pitching 165 innings. And, he was still, flirting around. Actually, his rookie year was actually his best year outside of the last 2 years. Everything else was 4.15, 4.18. 2019 was a big stinker. He had a 5.19 ERA. He did only pitch 7 games that year. He had injuries, but he had a 3-2 record. 2020, he didn't get any wins. He had 2 losses. He had an 8.22 ERA, pitched in 4 games, started in 2 of them. But injuries has been, the label on Carlos Rodon. He has shown that he's been healthy. I think the fact that if he could go into this season with the Yankees healthy and maybe not replicate what he ended up doing in 2021 and maybe try to do a little bit of 2022, I think the Yankees do have a decent chance on actually getting further to where they want to be at, which is getting into the World Series and claiming the title. Problem is, I still don't think they have enough. Houston is the creme de la creme in the American League, and I still believe that even with the Carlos Rodon signing, it doesn't do anything that's going to change the outcome. I still believe that Houston is still the better team. I mean, they got Jose Abreu. They, like I said, in a previous video, they ended up swapping Jose Abreu for Yuli Gurriel, and I just think that with their rotation of Framber Valdez, all right, you have the guy that I always forget his name. He always cradles before he ends up pitching. All right, they got a pretty good bullpen. They got a pretty good bullpen as well too, but rotation's solid. All right, I just think that overall, right, you got the bats in Houston. Houston's just been there and done that, and I just think that the Yankees still don't have enough offensively. I mean, with Judge, Stanton, I mean, if Harrison Bader is able to replicate what he did in the postseason, that's a big addition right there too, because Bader has never been somebody that's a home run hitter. I know you have Aaron Hicks and Josh Donaldson that the Yankee fans want to get rid of, and I don't know how they're going to be able to get rid of because Hicks' contract and Donaldson's contract, I think Donaldson's contract is a little bit more significant as opposed to Hicks. But, I mean, those are things that, people are going to be looking at. Pitching rotation, you have Garrett Cole as your ace, Rodon as your number 2. I would imagine Nestor Cortez as your number 3, Severino as your number 4. Who would be your number 5? I have no idea. I would imagine that the Yankees are going to try to get somebody to be in that 5th spot. Or they might just tweak somebody out from the bullpen and, maneuver something like that. The Yankees did, with this signing, definitely bolstered their rotation. I think that, they're separating themselves from the pack of the AL East. The only thing that they got to concern themselves with is how they're going to pair up with Houston. And maybe Carlos Rodon can be that 1-2 punch that they needed, all right, or 1-2-3 punch if you want to include Nestor Cortez. But I certainly do believe that the Yankees did improve pitching-wise. The Yankees have been historically well offensively, but pitching, they haven't been able to get the answer, and they got their white whale that they wanted. Well, Carlos Rodon is officially a Yankee, all right? Only question is, how will he do? I mean, we've seen some great pitchers and good signings before come to New York, especially to the Bronx, right? And they haven't panned out well. But let's see if the New York pressure is for him or, he folds like a cheap tent. But I'm actually pretty excited about this, about him signing with the Yankees, just because, man, I'm a Met fan, right? But seeing the Yankees be successful is a little bit interesting because I just love to see that momentum. They rise up, they get that momentum, right? And then once playoff time comes, the fall, it hurts so much the higher you go, the harder you fall. And I just think that they don't have enough to get it done against Houston. But that's just my take, guys. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Take Your Base. I'm your host, Vlavo Oriana. Yankees signed Carlos Rodon on a 6-year, $162 million contract. And they got their 1-2 punch with Cole and Carlos Rodon in the Bronx. Until then, guys, I'm Vlavo Oriana, and I will see you guys at a later time. Peace, guys, and have a good one. See ya.